Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 4 of our 5-day Write With Me. We've been kicking off brainstorming ideas for things to cover today, and we're talking about a plugin that helps with people who have their story already partially written. So Manon, one of our teachers and ambassadors, has this plugin, My Story in Reverse. If you want to find it, you can just do a search in the plugins in reverse, and it'll bring it up for you. And Manon is going to tell us how best to use this plugin. Go ahead, Manon.
Once you show how it goes, that would be a lot easier because all they have to do is highlight their full chapter and click the plugin, and they're going to get all the information they require to fill up the rest of their boxes. But bear in mind, the plugin was done before the world building and the new character box. So I would have to go back and fix some of the extension to it. But you'll have your answer you're looking for to get all those boxes that you are like scratching your head on how to fill them up.
Okay, I didn't quite understand you. You're saying that once I add the plugin to my little list of pull down plugins, that I next do something to make it happen, or what did I miss here? What do I do next?
Nicole, do you have a chapter you can show, add the plugin and show her how to work it out?
We'll figure something out.
On the story from yesterday, maybe?
Yeah, we'll figure something out. Let's jump into. Let's go to our track 3. All right, so you can highlight up to 90,000 words. So we just highlight this one. Let's get some more in here.
And I put 90,000 words, so normally it's probably a full book you can highlight. If your full book is in one section, like your chapter 6 there, you can put all your chapter there, highlight everything, and use a plugin.
Yeah, sorry for all the scrolling. I'm just trying to add more. It's not going to make sense. I'm just adding more text to here's all.
So you're adding up to 2,000 characters of different chapters into one big chapter right now, yes?
Basically, if you had your book,
prose. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's she's using all chapter 4, 6, and she's putting everything in there. And she's highlighting. She has 5,000 words, almost 6,000 words right now.
Yeah. What's the max?
90,000.
90,000. Okay, great. I could select 90,000 words and put them all into one big chapter, like we're doing right now first, and then pull the plugin thing. Let's see here.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I always feel like the Jeopardy themes.
Oh, many of them. Oh my God. My story.
Canadian flag on yours.
I just saw it.
My story.
There we go.
I saw it. Yeah. Clicked on that. And then what happens now?
The story is about a young woman struggling to survive in the grim property, the genre in 40 words, your style in 40 words, supposed to be anyway, your 800 word synopsis or less.
But it's being built here on the right hand side here, and this white characters.
All of this. This is what the plugin
all of this.
Oh, I see. It's not. But then I cut and paste that into the actual boxes down below. Yes.
You can copy each part and put it exactly in the story Bible as they are, and then fix them up if you need to fix them up.
Yep. So I could take this, adjust it however I felt I needed to. You know, like we say, always edit to your liking. If you don't agree with something, don't put it in there. But I can put this is my genre, this is my style, synopsis right here. And then for these, you could do it 2 ways. So I could take each one of these, go down to my characters. When I generate that element, I could paste in, generate for Annie right there if I wanted to. Alternatively, if I wanted to do that, generate cast to generate it all at once. Let's see how many words this actually is in the synopsis. It might be enough. Okay, so I actually have enough room to put the actual synopsis and my character descriptions both in synopsis to generate the cast. Or you could do that little thing, if you have a lot more, remove your story information from synopsis, Just do your character descriptions like this to generate your cast. And then once you generate your cast, turn around and put your synopsis back in with your story
Yeah.
information for your outline.
Yeah, I
If
think the
you
main, yeah. I think for me but is there an outline here? I see chapter. Oh, there's the outline. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Because I've written about half the book so far, painstakingly, very painfully, by the way. And so I don't want to get all that and start over again to generate my outline. I want to reverse engineer the whole thing. So if, let's say in about 5 months, I create some more text, some more prose to my chapters 28 through 45, I'm all done. I can then run the plugin all over again to get a new outline, a new synopsis, a new whatever, all rebuilt again. Yes?
Yes.
Great. So the key is you go through and put all of your book up to 9,000 characters, chapters 1 through chapters whatever, into one big gigantic chapter, and then select the whole 90,000 characters in that one big chapter, then choose the add plugin feature, and then let it go to work all by itself. And when we see on the right-hand side, I can go ahead and cut and paste it, move it around or whatever. Once it's there, it's there. That's the main thing. Okay,
Bingo.
well, thank you so much. This is wonderful.
Now,
You're
do I
welcome.
need to go on my little spiel though about how much we recommend starting with a story from scratch to learn the programs? You heard all that, right?
No, don't.
I do, but I can't. I mean, the story's been halfway written now, so I can't unwrite it. I can't
Right.
throw
We're
it
just,
away.
yeah, if you find yourself doing this and you're getting frustrated, just left and right, constant frustrating, trying to work that, pause it,
Mhm.
start a new project, do a little story from scratch. Again, fairy tale retelling of Three Little Pigs, doesn't matter. Just to play
Yeah.
around with the features and get that feel for how to make
Gotcha.
adjustments and seeing how they affect.
Gotcha.
And
I see.
the fun thing is to use a story you already know, like I did in my class, like Pinocchio or Cinderella or something like that. Try
Mhm.
to use Sudowrite with a story you already know to see what Sudowrite is doing with something which is already existing, so you understand even more the mechanic.
Gotcha. Like a
One of
dry
the-
run.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, like a dry run on like a fake story first to get the feel at first, and then do my real story.
Correct.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes sense then. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
welcome.
And yeah, you might really have a good time. One of the my favorite classes is we turned Cinderella into a serial killer. We had a blast with that in class. So just have fun with it. Make it an outlandish thing. Just have fun.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. How many credits did it take? Let's see.
That's a good question.
897. I am broke.
That
Now, keep in mind, I only had 6,000 words highlighted. So if you're bringing in 90K, that is going to be a big difference. Mana, what
Wow.
model does that use?
I changed the model not long ago for one which was less expensive.
Okay.
Let me get back to which program I use.
Yeah. So y'all just keep that in mind. If you're bringing in 60, 90K.
Claude 3 Echo.
Oh, Haiku. Okay, Haiku's not bad, y'all. So,
Okay.
all right. So for those tuning into the recording, we are caught up on everything I wanted to show people. Tomorrow is going to be editing. We're right on track. So today is kind of a free for all. I asked people what they wanted us to work on today before we started the recording. So we're going to delve into a few things. I did share the link to the document in chat for those that need to grab it. Nothing's changed since yesterday. It's still the same. And let me look at chat. So somebody mentioned customizing world building cards. A reminder on the workflow from brainstorming with quick chat through creating characters or even through generating prose. I'm going to need you to elaborate a little bit more on that, exactly what you're wanting us to do, or I can just do like a brief little recap of what I did.
A recap would be fine. I know I was taking notes, but I missed stuff about starting from the brainstorming, and there were 3 different ways, and one of them was quick chat.
Okay.
I think this is where I'm confused. And then there were steps after that to finally getting toward the end, but I was so busy watching and then trying to take notes that I think I missed half of it.
And just so y'all know too, I know they're not on the Discord yet. They are uploaded, but if y'all go to my YouTube.
Yeah, I rewatched. I missed part of yesterday, so I was trying to catch up with that.
All right, so we can do a recap. Somebody else, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get back into order so I can look at the questions. Somebody else wanted to see what we were planning on doing with ChatGPT before it glitched. I actually already did that. I may not have shared with y'all. I apologize if I didn't. So what I had wanted to do, and if this is not what you were talking about, Christina, let me know. But I believe you're referring to how I had said I wanted to modify the world building brainstormer card. Does this sound right? And I'm scrolled up in chat, so if a co-host could help me with their response, so I don't lose my place with the questions. Is this what you're referring to when we were going to mess with chat and it didn't work?
I think it was, I was there for that. So what you were gonna do is go to ChatGPT and work through that, but it was down, so you ended up doing it in quick chat. Does
Okay,
that sound right?
could be. But I did go back into chat after it came up. I uploaded that template, that world building brainstorm template, told it to read the file just for the genres. As you can see, it gave me this very short output. So I didn't like that. Told it these are too short. And yes, I spelled two wrong. I was so ashamed of myself after that, even though nobody saw. But it was too short. I want to comprehend. Yeah, this is a big trigger word in chat. I say trigger word, that's the wrong thing to use, but this is a very helpful word to remember in chat. Extended synopsis for if you want a hefty synopsis, or comprehensive. So I told it I want comprehensive templates for each genre, and then it gave me this. So I got a fantasy one, sci-fi, and it just kind of adjusted all of these little things. And again, these are things that if I like them, I always keep that in mind. I don't want to encourage you to use something you don't like, don't need. If I like these, I can turn around and use this in my trait fields for my world building cards as the instructions. So the AI knows, oh, it wants me to, I'm going to speak right today, I swear. If I put these as the name in my world building cards, right here, that acts as the prompts, remember that. So if I have this as the name of that field, the AI knows when it generates that card to do this. And of course, you could put up to 300 characters, 30 words, something along those lines. So I probably have enough room to fit all of this into one field. And these, I did upload these. I did romance. So y'all actually have all of these already in this one. They are in this new tab, world building prompt ideas. These are everything that chat gave me there. Adjust them as you need. And I just lost my place in the conversation. Oops. So let's say you might like one of these romance ones, but you want it more for mafia or dark romance. You know, you can grab that. You might like this fantasy world building. You might drop this template into chat. I can do that easily if you're using ChatGPT. Come over here, download it. It works great in PDF, text. It takes a lot more than it used to, but these are the two that I will generally rotate to using. So you download that, come here, upload it into chat and tell it what you want. I want more categories. I want more in-depth details for each category, whatever you want. Let chat do that footwork for you, and then you can modify for what you need. All right, so I think that was Christina's. Christina, is that what you were wanting to see? I never saw that answer, so let me know if that is not it. I'm going to jump ahead. All right, so the next one was the reminder on a workflow. Again, I typically actually use ChatGPT because it's easier just to have this all in one spot, and I have that history there. On my channel too, my YouTube channel, I do have the 4-day write with me that was done several months ago. And that shows me actually going back and forth with ChatGPT, developing a story. You can do it in several ways, and I want y'all to find what works for you. We do things different. Miss Lynn does things different. I do things different than John. So one thing you could do, if you don't mind going through the credits, I could give them an idea here in the story. Let me go back to this one. I could give it my ideas here. You know, just having this or this small little section, have it generate a synopsis, work back and forth between brain dump and synopsis to refine it to my liking. Or I can use Quick Chat. Copy this. So I'm going to pull up Quick Chat, Control K on a PC, Command K on a Mac. And remember, these are both free using 3.5 Turbo. If I toggle this on, it's using GPT-4 and it uses credits. Give me 3 story that fit this. So asking for 3 story premise ideas. I'm actually going to copy this. I want to see if First Draft will cooperate today too. And let's see what it'll give us. And the brainstorming portion for me is all going back and forth.
So does the quick chat take the world building blocks into account?
Quick Chat looks at, yeah, it does have the world building now. So it's looking at docs and projects. So if I type something there, hey, what about, give me this character's arc, and I name that character, it's going to look at the documents and try to find that character. Doesn't look at the titles. Looks at highlighted text and preceding text, and then all of this. And then this is what Quick Edit looks at. So what did it give? So it went through those documents there. Now with that context checker that they're coming out with in the future, I could actually guide it more. I don't want you looking at these things, or hey, I want you to go look at this document. That is in the future. So really here it gave me, this is pretty much what it is, the story. And then it looks like it kind of just switched them up a little bit. So in this instance, Quick Chat is looking at stuff I've already generated. It's just not very helpful. I'm confused. I can't blame it. It's doing what it's supposed to do, what it's designed to do. It's just not very useful for me at this point, which is another reason I would be in ChatGPT. But what it did, it essentially took those little outputs, like with the name changes, all of those, and just reconfigured that same basic story premise in different ways. So it could be very useful, especially if you're kind of happy with the story, but something seems off and you're not quite 100% satisfied with it. So try that. Let's see what First Draft will give us. And I will link that Quick Tools document. Sorry, I just didn't want to lose my stuff that I had copied.
You have a question in the chat from Sue there. If you can explain what you did. She kind of messed up a little bit. She missed a part of it.
So you started with brain dump.
Is this what you did? You started with brain dump. You already had something in there. And then you were flipping, sort of moving back and forth between brain dump and synopsis, which I misspelled in there. That was one thing that you did. And then the other thing was, or you could move between brain dump, we already had something, and using Quick Chat or
Right.
synopsis.
Yeah,
Quick
and
Chat.
for if
So
you're using
options.
Quick Chat, oh, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
If you're using Quick Chat, you don't even need to start in brain dump. If you know, hey, I want to work with Quick Chat first, just go to a blank document, start doing, type out whatever you need, highlight it if you want to use that, or just work with Quick Chat there. But I know, for example,
Oh, that was great. Thank you.
you're welcome. For example, so the story that I used to learn Sudowrite on, that story from scratch, all I did was put a sentence in brain dump. And the sentence was something along the lines of a disease is wiping out packs of werewolves and 2 alphas need to join together to find a cure. That's it. That's what I started with in brain dump. Generated a synopsis, took the pieces that I like, went back to brain dump. That also ended up giving me some additional ideas. So I put all of that again in brain dump, generated another synopsis, and just kind of refined it that way. Again, that's using credits. So that might be when it's very helpful to start with quick chat instead. So I could just go to a document and type that little sentence out instead and ask quick chat to generate a synopsis or help me. Matter of fact, we'll do that, but I just want to show you how quick what first draft gave us. I already have a writer MC, so I can't use that one, but it did give us 3 nice story premise ideas for MC stalker stuff. And that one cost $6.79 credits, so not bad for 999 words. Okay, so instead of going back and forth between brain dump and synopsis, I'm going to start a new project just so we don't have all that stuff carrying over. And I'm going to get some specific here. So I can work with quick chat. I could tell it, you mean extended synopsis for this shifter romance? I did write that story. It's not very good. I'm going to be honest with you. Anytime somebody talks to me about that book and they point out the scenes that they like, it's all the scenes that I wrote by hand. Again, that's the one I was learning AI with. So take it with a grain of salt. It is actually published though. And this is what we've been telling you on quick chat is just doing all these questions. So I'm just going to prompt it to third time's the charm, you think? Oy. We have told them about this, that it is just getting downright annoying that it's not actually giving us anything. It's just asking us a bunch of questions. So hopefully they get this taken care of soon. But the other option, instead of asking for a synopsis, give me plot ideas. Let's just go, give me plot ideas and character suggestions. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't in good conscience do this, no. So I would go to ChatGPT. So I can work again, asking it for ideas or asking for that extended synopsis and going back and forth. And I would take what I liked, tell it what I didn't like, and again, just do that back and forth. So in ChatGPT. Of course, if you don't have ChatGPT, you would do the free version, the 3.5. And if you have the subscription or want to get the subscription, do that. Other option, in Brain Dump, let it generate the synopsis, keep going back and forth. So yes, you're going to be using some credits, or do quick chat, because hopefully it'll be working better by that time for you. Does that help?
Yes. ChatGPT doesn't have any filters, right? So you can go as dark as you want.
Oh, no, it does. So here's the thing, if you're using ChatGPT. This is just another example. I believe I showed this in the last Write With Me. This is just a very, very lengthy back and forth again. So I think this series came to 4 books total so far, where I've just been going through. I like this. I don't like this. What are some different ideas for this? I know I'm using the word this a lot, but I'm just giving y'all examples of all the little things I do. This is one of my favorite parts of the process, just doing all this brainstorming, trying to make it as good as possible. And I will tell y'all, my final thing that I always ask chat when I've come up with all the ideas I can come up with, I think I have a decent outline. I will give it my outline or my full brain dump and say, how can I make this story stronger? I will typically do that probably 2 or 3 times before I'm done and ready and saying, okay, this story is as good as it's going to get. Because pretty much every time I give it that question, it's going to give me some really good ideas to incorporate and add some depth. So that is a line I will always use with ChatGPT. How can I make this story stronger? So for triggers though, okay, so here's the thing. It will plan all day long. It has no problem planning murders, planning dark mafia romance, planning taboo content. The minute you ask it to write that scene or write some details about it, that's when you will trigger. So when I'm planning, I will typically say, my other chat is so far buried, I wouldn't even be able to find it right now. I'm trying to think of my exact wording that I used last time. And then I'll copy it. All right, so this is an example. So the key with plotting is telling it, place any content you feel, and you can change that wording, just vary it a little bit. Place any content you feel uncomfortable writing in placeholders. So that means it will not skip over that plot point, and it'll just put in placeholders some little brief description, discuss the heroine's emotional reaction to whatever happened that it felt uncomfortable with actually writing out. And then I know once I have all that done, I can go into Sudowrite and then be as explicit as I want. So that's my method for getting around that. I will plot in ChatGPT, but I don't get into the details until I get into Sudowrite. Now, Playground will let you go darker, but that's a whole different topic.
Got it. Thank
So
you.
more money. So that's my workaround. All right. So for the recap process, did I cover enough? Anything else that
You covered all of my questions. Thank you.
okay. Yep, Alexander, you can put that in quick chat. Is just issues right now, but we've made them aware. All right, so I lost the other ideas in the channel, in the conversation, so I'm going to move on to customizing world building cards that was requested. Devon, I believe that was your request. Any specific genre? Or element type that you want to focus on? Watching chat just to see. Is he still here? Epic fantasy? All right. Let's see. So this one I haven't. Okay, so this will help cover the process thing a little bit more too, the brainstorming and cards. So this is one, I had a dream about this. I don't know why, but anyways, I have weird dreams, woke up and just kind of wrote this little thing out. That's all I've got. I haven't even thought about this since. I did play with, I described with Ouroboros. I have to say I'm in love with that plugin. So if y'all want to check it out, I really liked what it came up with. All right. So obviously I would still work with Quick Chat, ChatGPT, whatever you preferred, and flesh out some story ideas for this. But we don't have time to do all that. So I am actually just going to plot this in synopsis. And we're going to let it come up with some things for us. So we're going to go ahead and generate all the characters. I will tell y'all too, epic fantasy in the genre box will trigger a lot of artifacts. I've been using adventure fantasy help before, but now of course I've stopped using the word fantasy altogether. But if you find you're always getting artifacts, remove the word epic. That seemed to do the trick for me. Artifact as in there's always this artifact that's going to save or doom the world, like an element in the story. It's forever in an epic fantasy bringing in some sort of artifact. Maybe we should see if they can incorporate a little tune while these generate character things, generate the cast buttons going. Or some sparkles at least. Have sparkles flying around your screen.
Always here for the sparkles.
Yes, always. So yeah, the generating cast does take a while because it's doing all of them. And I know somebody's going to ask, so 16,000 credits for that. So of course, going through here and adjusting, we go to always be adjusting that line of dialogue. Now, when they come out with that, where we're able to generate a specific trait button, I would actually probably for that sample line of dialogue, again, I showed you how I work around using Quick Chat and ChatGPT, but when we get that generate trait, if we have instructions like we do up here, that instruction box, I would tell it something along the lines of give me 3 unique lines of dialogue that reflect a darker personality or sarcastic personality, things like that to guide it a little bit more instead of me having to go elsewhere. I would give that a try first. So I know the question was on world building, but I want to make sure we had some characters there to play with just in case. Let me double check my brainstorming card because it works pretty well for fantasy. So I'm going to come over here to brainstorming, see what we have. Oh, we can delete cards now. Well, they are just popping out features left and right, huh? Surprise. Okay, I like this. This will work. History and backstory, outline a major historical event that has shaped the story world. So I think that would do the what triggered the apocalypse thing. So this looks good. So I'm going to do the brainstorming one. And remember, both characters and world building, it looks at synopsis if you have something in there. If you do not have anything in synopsis, it will look at brain dump. So if synopsis isn't big enough, again, they are working on upgrading that. But if it currently isn't big enough, leave it empty, put your information in brain dump. You can always go back in the history and restore whatever other information you need. All right, so it gave us the meteor cataclysm, the great descent. I actually like this one, it's a little bit better. All right, post cataclysm, cities lying in ruin, overtaken by nature. So the downfall of this is my story idea was taking place like right after, like it was seeing it happen. So obviously it hasn't had time to adjust this. That would be another generate trait feature that would be good. Again, with that customized instruction box, I could tell it something along the lines of generate a description of the environment immediately after the apocalypse, or whatever wording you wanted to use. Small communities and tribes. But that brainstorming card, this one right here, is intended to use as kind of a jump start, get some ideas for your story. So for this particular one, in customizing here, key event, let's see what key event has. When it happened, what happened, implications. Let's do it. That one fits the story very well. So I'm going to go to key event. Meteor event and subsequent apocalypse. Another thing I would do for this story, and Devon, let me know if none of this is helpful or if you're needing to focus more on something else. Something else for this story, I mentioned, I mentioned all these creatures. So I could come back down here. There's not really a creature one. Of course, I don't need it. I don't need the creatures to have all of my character things. Somebody, my brain is stalling on what to actually do with this creature thing now. So somebody feel free to chime in. So the dilemma here is these are my defaults, right? Well, now if I try to generate a card with those creature things, they're not going to have all of this. This is very unnecessary. We did mention we want to be able to have a card for like protagonist, the main characters versus minor characters. So they know that's highly requested. Hopefully we'll get that one day. That is an instance of when it would be very useful. I could have it for those creatures right there. So for now, the best thing to do, because if I do want it here in characters, I would work with quick chat. Just add that blank card, get rid of all the fields that I don't want. And then work with quick chat to be able to manually fill them in. I come down here and try to do it in the world building though. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I could generate it. I could customize a card here in world building. I'm sorry for the rambling. Y'all tell me to shut up and like, Nicole, this isn't useful.
We will do
No,
no
you're
such
answering
thing.
question, my dear.
So okay, yeah, I think how I would approach this is, since I know I can come down here into world building and generate with this, I just need to adjust my card, customize an appropriate card for it. I could generate it here and then just copy that into fields in the character box. Sounds a little redundant, but that would actually be my preferred method, I think. Getting those ideas from the AI here in the world building card, copying it over into the characters for those different animals, creatures, things that I want to show up a lot. Monster of the week stuff, I like that. Okay, so let's do a creature card. Trying to see if it'll trigger to kind of reset. All right, so I'm going to type in creature, create creature. So we'd want a physical description. And let's just see. If we have anything in that sheet. I don't believe I do. For creatures, characters. Might have one in this. No. Oh, we got a D&D monster sheet, maybe? Bunch of stuff we don't need, but always something to get started right away. We're gonna have to make some creature cards, y'all. All right, so I would want a physical description. What else would we want?
Species.
Species? Okay.
I'm losing my voice, sorry.
Abilities.
I always like to have their age approximative or something like that.
And I would put that probably here with the physical description if I definitely wanted that. I don't think I'm too worried about it for a creature, but that is a good thought. So abilities, lifespan.
Do you like to know their backstory a little bit too?
Culture.
Well, in this particular one, these creatures are just basically think of like rabid dogs or, dinosaurs coming back to life. So I don't think a lot of that would play into it. But if we were doing a creature in terms of shifter just comes to mind, that's not the right one, but I would definitely want that there. So abilities, lifespan.
Vulnerabilities is something Blade said in the chat.
Oh, yeah, I was going to put ways it can be killed. Ways it
Just
can
a
be
quick
killed
question. Does
without-
it matter if you're putting multiple, like you put abilities, lifespan, and vulnerabilities in one box, but you could have put those in 3 boxes and it doesn't matter?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. If I expected a lot of output, or I thought this was something very important, I might put it in different ones, but when it's small things, instead of having a whole bunch of little boxes with just a line of something, basically, I would like to combine them. Now, vulnerabilities might be one. It's actually,
It's about their language.
yeah.
Thanks.
Language, if any, we'll put that, yeah. Ways it can be killed, how it likes to kill. Diet. Let's just go with that.
If you're going for animals, you could do hunting style.
Ooh, that's a good one. And then I would actually guide it. Does this creature hunt in packs? Or solo? Does it,
Stalking, ambush.
okay, does it only hunt at night? What's a good, let's see, let's think of a good phrase so the AI can also come up with something maybe we didn't think of. Give any other useful details. How about that? All right, let me go back up here and copy this. All right, so let's generate our creature and see what happens here. I'm going to paste that in. Don't necessarily need that, but I also kind of want it to know, you know, this little aspect. She does, Adam. Isn't she awesome? So somebody asked, do I have a list of keywords for AI to give you specific results? That's one of those things you're going to want to play with. Like I said, I've discovered extended synopsis works better to get a longer synopsis to put into my box. Comprehensive is a great word. There are also words you want to avoid. So for instance, I used to put explicit in my style box. Well, we know how the AI likes to clutch its pearls. So yes, it understands explicit can mean dirty stuff, naughty stuff. However, since it wants to clutch its pearls, its first instinct, I know instinct isn't correct, but its first instinct is to gravitate towards explicit being concise instead of graphic. So graphic has actually worked better for me instead of using the word explicit. So those are things as you play with the AI, you kind of learn and get a feel for. And let's see, we got Buffy conversations going on in chat. All right, so what did it do? Infernal canines, stone beast, stand about. Okay, so we got the Hellstone hellhounds, or Hellstone hounds. Hellstone hellhounds sounded better. Stand about 4 feet tall. Okay. Surprising agility, heightened sense of smell, vulnerable to extreme cold. Hounds prefer to ambush their prey using their camouflage ability. What y'all think? Not bad, right?
Yeah, we did a good job.
I'm going to have it just generate another creature without any instructions and see what happens.
There's so much stuff we can do with world building. It's crazy.
I agree. Yeah. So again, all of this, remember that acts as your AI prompts. You're telling it, what do I want you to include? Think about these. Give me ideas for this. Focus here. And for these, I would just go ahead and make a blank character card and put these in as needed in that character box. So now we have the skeleton birds, necro claw raptors. I like that. Okay. Wingspan can reach up to 15 feet. Look, they got glowing blue eyes, not piercing. I was reading through. All right, so let's jump over. We have a few minutes. Do y'all want to stick with fantasy or do y'all want to jump over into a different genre for world building cards? Or is there something else y'all want to cover?
Hey, Nicole,
Yes, sir.
what I was actually wondering about, you have a card in the world building for brainstorm. And what I was wondering is, those fields that you came up with, were those just randomly picked by you? Or were they something that you actually wanted?
So that first one, the very first brainstorming card came from this world building brainstormer. And it's just general fantasy world building elements or general world building elements. Right here. So, and then I went into chat and adjusted for different genres. So that's what y'all have now in that new world building. Where was it? World building prompt ideas right here. So I went back into chat, uploaded that original one, and they got more specific with the genres. So y'all can do that. So yeah, my very first one just came from a general world building template. I just input those. I wanted to see how it worked. I loved it. But yeah, I would need to adjust it for the different genres. For instance, my dark mafia romance, not so great to be asking about magic and advanced technologies and things like that. Hence, these now do a little bit better. So let's look at this MC one I came up with the other day with chat. So I could easily adjust this one more for like a mafia, for instance. And then now I have, if I go back into this real quick. So I have the original brainstorming card, and then I have the mafia brainstorming card now. So I could do a thriller brainstorming, horror, whatever I need, the little RPG, things like that.
Nicole, do you know if the outline, when you go to generate your outline, if it takes world building cards into effect yet?
Ooh, that's a good question. I thought outline was supposed to look at world building.
I thought so too, but I figured since you've got your thingy open, you could do the thing.
I'm trusting this one more right now. That's the old one. I could have sworn I updated that. Where is, there we go. In case anybody doesn't have this, let me share this with y'all, but I think. Thank you, Tomas. Okay, so outline is looking at world building. It's supposed to look at world building and characters. So if you are seeing it isn't, let them know.
Yeah, I thought they updated it so that it looked at both, but confirmation is good.
Yeah. I'm just thinking something Ryan said the other day. Now it's not the raw stuff. So that's why he mentioned people might want to make plugins to look at raw data. And it is looking at those. All right, so let me. Michael mentioned something about outline not doing one of them. So according to this, it's, like I said, it's supposed to. So definitely if y'all knows, hey, it is definitely not looking at world building. Here's an example, let them know. If I go in and make the fiends as a custom card, will it take the chapters? It does not take that stuff into account to make character cards or world building cards. So whenever you create character or world building cards, again, it is looking at synopsis. If you do not have anything in synopsis, it is looking at brain dump. Something we asked them to also consider was world building looking at characters. And I think it was asked to have it both ways. Characters also look at world building. So if a person would prefer to do one before the other, it would see things. But they are looking off brain dump and synopsis or synopsis, depending on which one you have filled in. And then of course I could take prose and have it generate an element. I could generate, put in up to, they couldn't give me an exact number if it was 1,000 or 2,000 words, but I did show an example of this. I can input some prose The example I showed, the AI had given me a new character. I liked the idea, so I told it generate this character. Knox was his name, gave it the pros that had him in there, and it generated a card for him. So that might fit what you're wanting to do, Jade. And again, that's up to 1,000 or 2,000 words you can put in here. Bye, Tabby. All right, let me look. How do we know if we have your most current links? Is there a date? There is not, but I do have a Notion class coming up on the 24th for anybody needing Notion stuff. So this is from that character and world building session. So whenever these 3 events happened, that's it. This is the same Google sheet that I linked. Y'all actually got the newer version. And this was just giving some information, you know, how each little button works. I try to start like I've been doing today, for this series. I try to say, hey, you know, I got new stuff in there, added stuff, or it's all the same to be a little bit more helpful. Oh, you know what you can do though is in Discord. There is, I think I might have shared this already in the tips and tricks. If you search for teacher documents, I actually put all of my Notion links. Again, that doesn't really help you know if I've made changes, but at least here you know they were done around this time or before. So all of my Notion documents I think are now here. Hopefully the others will add theirs as well. So Tomas, do you want to speak on that at all before we cut off the recording? What you mean by synopsis is a great place to stage and edit world building elements before generating them? Is there a way to copy characters from one project to another? Yep, they answered that. So duplicating, if I come over here onto my project screen, click the 3 dots, I can duplicate, and it is going to duplicate all of the stuff. All the things. So you see it's duplicating. Now we have the copy right here and the original. So I can go back into this copy and you can see the words are the same. So if I go into this copy, go down here, I have all that stuff duplicated right there. All right. Are there any other questions? What did you just say? You said no. All right. So again, to recap for those that missed it, this may be similar to what Tomas was saying, but before I generate, I've had the best luck in generating my cast of characters. Again, not having story information and synopsis and just having brief character descriptions. I don't know how to describe it other than it didn't do any cheesy factors, no cliches or anything in the wording. It just really nailed their personality stuff. And that's what all of my characters that were generated were focused on, just personality stuff. That was my best experience. So I could take all of this story information out, just put in some brief character descriptions. Since this one's currently limited to 800 words, I could empty this, do instead in brain dump all my character or world building information that I want to have, and then generate my cast. That's been my preference. All right, so do not hit return, keep it one long paragraph. All right, so I am going to go ahead and stop the recording. As usual, I will hang around for a few minutes to see if anybody needs anything. But thank you all for hanging out with me today. And tomorrow we will cover editing. Bye, everyone.